Hello there and welcome back to another episode of our Luminar NEO Academy, the show where we help you to get the most out of this photo editing application. Now, if you've never been here before, my name is Jakub and I'm a creator and founder here at Clever Photographer. Now, before we going to start, I have a few things I want to cover. First of all, at the end of the video, I'm gonna give you access to our popular Luminar NEO shortcut cheat sheet, so you make sure that you stay until the end. Also, if you don't own Luminar NEO or the HDR Merge plugin, get our discount code to get the best possible price, and you can find it in the description of this video. Finally, I would like to ask you to please like, comment and share on this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel so we can keep creating content like this. Nothing adds to a winter photo like a falling snow. But capturing those falling snowflakes with your camera can be a challenge. Not to mention what to do if it wasn't snowing at all. Thankfully, it's quite easy with Luminar NEO to add the snow later. And I will show you all of that in this step-by-step tutorial. To make this work, we're going to need the help of the layers panel and a good quality snow overlays. Now, as always, if you want to follow us along, all you need to do is to jump into the description of this video, follow the link there and download the files from our Dropbox account. In fact, let's have a look at the sample files now. When you download and unzip the files, you will get a folder with the sample image and you will get a folder with the assets. Inside of the assets folder, you will get 3 sets of overlays with different level of snow, and you will get one LUT called Winter Wonder. All of these assets are coming from our winter bundle, and this is a great time to mention that this video is powered by it. Our brand new Luminar NEO winter bundle includes over 860 winter assets for your favorite tools in the software. Get it and get extra high definition skies, overlays, textures, backgrounds, frames, LUTs and presets. Get all of that and transform your winter images with just a few clicks. To top it off, the winter bundle includes bonus festive mini bundle full of incredible assets for the festive season. To get the best offer, follow the link in the description of this video or head directly to our website cleverphotographer.com. And now it's time to start with the edit. As you can see, we are already in Luminar NEO and we are starting in a catalog module. Import the sample file, click on it, select it, and let's move it into edit module by clicking on the edit on the top of the screen or using E on our keyboard. Looking at the image, we have this beautiful animal here with a little bit of snow on it, which will work very well for our image, and we have lots of frozen grass around. So how are we gonna add the snow? So as I mentioned earlier, we're gonna be using the layers panel and overlays. So let's turn our attention towards our layers panel and simply click on the plus sign here. Inside, click on load image and then navigate towards the location of your sample files. Open the assets folder and here we have once again 3 snows. So let's add them all. Simply select the first one and you can double click on it, or you can click on open in a corner of the window. So let's just double click on it and you can see that it gets immediately imported into the application. While we're here, let's click on load image again and add the heavy snow, and the same way load image and light snow. So now we have the 3 sets of snow. And this is a good time to talk about how to create and add realistic snow. Of course that we could just add one layer of the snow and it would look decent. However, the idea is to create a depth. This is why we have 3 sets of snow with different size and different thickness of the snow on it. And you will see how it's gonna work in a moment. The first layer we want to add is the small snow. So we're gonna select it and we're gonna wait a moment for it to be added to the image. As you can see, once it's added, it appears on our layers and it's selected, and we can say that by seeing the blue frame around it in our layers panel, as well as the blue frame on the image. Now let's turn our attention towards our main toolbar, where you can now see the layers properties. Inside, let's start by increasing the opacity to 100%. And then because we have the black background, we need to turn our blend mode from normal. So just click on the gray drop-down box and switch it into the screen. What it does, it removes the black background and now we have just the snow. Now to make it work, we want the snow to be everywhere, not just on the center of the image. So we can adjust the size by using these little handles, or we can very simply come back to the layer properties and click on the fill option here, and that way it kind of gets stretched across the entire image. Once we finish with this, we can then go back to the layers and add the second snow. So again, we're going to click on the plus sign, and this time we're going to add the medium snow. So click on it. It just takes a few seconds and it will appear. Now, as you can see, we have the little snow and we have some bigger flakes as well, the snowflakes, and we have even bigger snowflakes, which starting to look a little bit like a bokeh. So we're adding a little bit of a depth. This would be the snow which would be closer to your camera. So again, let's go back to the layer properties, increase the opacity to 100 and turn the blend mode from normal to screen. To finish it off, same workflow, we just click on fill and that way it gets nicely stretched across the entire image. And to finish the effect, we will click on a plus sign again and add the heavy snow on the top of it. As you can see, mostly big snowflakes. Again, some of them mostly blurry, some of them sharp, but the workflow is the same. Back to opacity, 100, normal to screen, and then fill. So of course, now looking at it, this would be a really heavy snow and it looks like it's a little bit too much. So what we need to do now, we need to work a little bit with masking as well as opacity. So starting with the big and heavy snow, which we have selected now, we should bring the opacity down. We really want it just a little bit. So I think just somewhere around maybe 30 is looking quite good. You almost don't want it to be visible, just adding a depth. Then we're gonna select the medium snow on our layers panel. And again, adjust the opacity here. Bring it down, keep an eye on the image. Let's have a look, maybe just somewhere around 60. And finally, with our small snow, we can leave it because it's really small, but if you want, you can turn it to somewhere around 90. Again, just making it a little bit more realistic. But in our case, maybe let's go for 95. So this is how you add 3 layers of snow, making it more realistic with adding extra depth to the image. Now looking at the image, there's the next thing we should do, and that's maybe remove some of the big snowflakes which are a little bit distracting. I'm talking about this one right here, just a really big one, and maybe few of the others. Now looking at it, I don't think this is from the small snow, so let's go for the medium, and we can just adjust the opacity to 0 and see if the big snowflake disappear, and by bringing it down, it does. So really, let's just go back to 70 here, and we know that we need to remove this snowflake right here. So to do that, we're simply going to use masking. So we're gonna go into the layer properties, while we have to make sure once again that our layer with the medium snow is selected. And once we do that, we click on masking, go into the brush, and in the brush, we're gonna use the erase. We're gonna be using certain part of the snow, so erase. Then with the softness, let's bring it down. I think maybe just somewhere around 50. With the size, I think maybe just a little smaller. And then with the strength, we want to stay on 100%. And now, very simply, we can just paint over the snowflake, and in a second, it will disappear. So this is how you can remove a snowflake from the image. So by using the masking. And obviously, the same way, we can then remove whole part of the snow for a certain part of the image. So for example, if we want to remove most of the snow from the body of the cow or from the face. Now, this would be very helpful if you would be working with portrait. You could very slightly adjust certain parts and just make sure that the subject is not as affected as the rest of the image. So for this, let's go back and let's start by adjusting the heavy snow. So same way, we're gonna select the heavy snow. We're gonna go into the masking and here again into the brush. With the brush, we're gonna make it a little bit bigger, I think somewhere around here. We can leave the softness on 100%, and this time we're gonna bring the strength down to 30. Once again, we're gonna be removing the snow, so we need to make sure that we are on erase, no paint. And now we can very carefully, with just 30%, just paint over the face and maybe over the body of the animal. So that's the first step for this part of the snow. Then we can do the same for the medium snow. So we select it, again go into the masking, brush, size is right, erase, softness on 100, and strength, let's say this time, maybe just around 20. Maybe a little bigger brush, and just very carefully paint over the animal. And now we have little less snow over the body and the main subject. Now this is a really artistic decision and it's up to you what you want to do, but I want you to know the technique of how you would do this. So this is it now, we have added the snow. But how to make it a little bit more realistic and make sure that it's looking as best as possible? Well, as always, when you're adding new elements to your image, especially when you're using the layers, it's always good to then merge everything together and add another effect on the top of it to just make it more realistic. The fastest way to do this is to use the Mood tool and the LUTs. But first what we need to do, we need to merge the layers together. At this moment, Luminar NEO cannot do it in the app, so we just need to export the image and bring it back into the application. So to do this, hit enter on your keyboard to jump out of the layers, right click on the image and go into the export. Here in the export window, change the name. So we're gonna call this cow. Then select the location and turn your attention towards the exporting setup. Starting with the sharpening, you wanna leave it on none. Resize, you wanna make sure that you're on original. And the idea at this moment is to export the image at the best quality possible. For this, we need to choose a TIFF in a format, because that's the best format Luminar NEO can export. Keep the color space on sRGB. Don't go for any compression, just leave it on none. And to get the best quality, go for 16 bits depth and 300 resolution. Uncheck the save transparency, we don't need it. And then very quickly, just click on save. Now, depending on the size of your image and the resolution and also the format, this may take few seconds or few minutes. But once it's ready, we're gonna go into the catalog and continue from there. So we are back in the catalog module, our image is here, so we can select it and then move it into the edit module there. Now looking at it, you can see the snow is on it. However, now we have just the one layer. So the other layers are all merged together into one image. And what we're gonna do now? So as I told you, we should apply a nice LUT to it to just make it more realistic and more believable. So for this, we're gonna go into our main toolbar and then turn our attention towards the creative section of it. Inside there is a tool called Mood tool, so click on it and then click on a choose LUT gray drop-down box. Here click on add custom LUT file and then navigate towards the location of the sample files. Open the assets folder and click on the one LUT that comes with the sample files. After that, click on add and it will take a few seconds and it will be applied to the image. After this, you can click on a gray drop-down box to see that it's there, and then you can increase the amount and see what you like. I think somewhere around 40 gives us a really nice pastel color, and we can quickly see the before and after with the use of the little eye icon in the top right corner of the tool. So as you can see, the LUT doesn't only affect the cow, but also the rest of the image, and everything is looking much better. So this is the workflow for adding the snow. You add the snow in multiple layers, then you adjust the different snowflakes and the different opacity through the different layers. And once you're done with all of that, you export it and import it back to the application to continue with the editing. So after the Mood tool, which we use to add a little bit of color grading and merge everything together, we can use some additional tools here. For example, we can go into the Mystical tool, which works very well with the snowy landscape, and we can increase the amount here. Additionally, this is a really nice example of a contrast. We have the brown cow and the white background, so we can increase the contrast even further by going into the Super Contrast tool in the Professional tools. And this is a tool where you can adjust the contrast specifically for highlights, midtones, and shadows. If you want to see the full tutorial on how to use it, we have it available on our YouTube channel, and I will list it in a corner of this video. But basically what we can do, we can go into the midtone contrast, for example, and really push it and get even more contrast on the animal compared to the rest of the image. And you could do that with the rest of the sliders, but I'm quite happy where we are now. Once we finish, we close it, apply it to the image, and now we can just quickly double check the before and after on what we done after exporting the file. So there you have it, a simple way of how you can add snow to your images directly in Luminar NEO. And there you have it. If you want a copy of our popular Luminar NEO shortcut cheat sheet, there is nothing easier than heading to our website cleverphotographer.com/LuminarGive. While you're there, you can also check out one of our popular Luminar NEO products, or you can stay here and watch more videos about Luminar NEO. For today, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please make sure that you like, comment, and share on this video. And also don't forget to subscribe to our channel so we can keep creating content like this. For today, thank you very much for watching. My name was Jakub, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.